Yeah, namaste and thanks to all of you for joining us on a Sunday. Though almost every day looks the same now, that's the feeling that I get when I talk to a lot of people. So still, I'm very grateful to Rohit also, who coordinates the communications in Youth for Seva. He's very conveniently placed this slot between Ramayana and Mahabharata and breakfast and lunch, so that I'll not be standing in between you and any of this more important programs. So let's just start, and I want to spend some time sharing my experiences from the Kumbh Mela, like the topics says. So I was actually supposed to be talking on Swami Vivekananda's thoughts and views on Seva first. So when Venkatesh ji suggested that I should rather be sharing experiences from the Kumbh Mela, which almost just about last year, around the same time or a month before, because it was from Shankranti to Shivaratri. That was the time I was there with a couple of other volunteers uh, who were there in Kumbh Mela. I actually felt a little amused as how contrasting life can be. Kumbh Mela was a place, like most of you might know, especially the last year's Prayag Kumbh, had a footfall of about 24 crores, which is like more than one sixth of the Indian population, right? And we had no place almost to see the road or the ground beneath us. People, especially like us who were staying there all along, we were so used to see crowds like 3 crores, 2 crores on one day, that when some visitors came in between on a day when they were just say about 5 lakh to 10 lakh people, we would say, "अरे आज भीड़ बहुत कम है, लोग ही नहीं है," and no people around, and the others used to feel very amused. So many people, and how do these people feel like that? In contrast to today, I'm hoping all of us are practicing the social distancing and the stay-at-home norms. At least by seeing the pictures or seeing the roads when we go out for a few grocery runs, we see how empty the roads are. Now, while this is amusing to see the contrast, it's actually when we reflect upon it deeply how different life is. And it just reminded me of what Krishna tries to tell us in the Bhagavad Gita, that an ideal personality or a sthita pragna that he keeps calling is when you can afford to remain cheerful or active when there is a lot of inactivity and gloom around, and also be peaceful when there is a lot of chaos around. I think this is one beautiful lesson I could reflect upon and try that we all imbibe in this period when I think about how Kumbh and this can be put together. So there were a lot of lessons like this in the Kumbh which we thought will also be applicable for what we are currently going through, and hence this effort of sharing the lessons. So the whole point of this is, I know especially as volunteers we might be feeling restless that we are not able to do enough on field like we usually did, but the best thing we can do now is probably stay at home and help in various other ways. It's also a seva to arrange sessions where people could get together. And Venkatesh ji, I think, spoke recently, right, on how we could develop our own selves. So this is a great time to invest in ourselves, fill our own vessels, so we can go back and do better when this is done. So just giving a small example that my professor, when I studied leadership at IIM, said that any change maker needs these three C's, to do well and get better in life, which is confidence, commitment, and competence. Commitment to the cause all of us have. Uh, Confidence also that it's not going to change in a couple of days or months. The world we are working for, the society. So that confidence that it will keep going, that optimism. The third one is competence, which most of us try to forget about. I mean, in the rush of life, we all get into working in any field with some level of understanding, knowledge, or experience that we have. And owing to lack of time or not understanding its importance, we don't work on it. So, this is a great time, and I'm sure the videos that they've been doing from Youth for Seva, we have been presenting this great opportunity for us to learn from all of us. So, the Kumbh itself, coming to it, Kumbh taught us lessons in many ways. So why is it we chose the whole community engagement thing? I want to share a very amusing incident that happened when we started working in the Hyderabad chapter. This is like maybe a decade ago in 2010-11. I see my friends from Hyderabad chapter, Sesha and all are here. So I started my full-time journey in Youth for Seva and social sector itself in the Hyderabad chapter. So with a lot of excitement, we once went to clean a slum, right? So when we went there, we did a lot of activities. We went, and Swachh Bharat was not even a very big movement there. So we went, cleaned this slum, sprayed a lot of DDT, cleared all the trash. After all this, while we were leaving, one of the women in the slum came and told us, "Chala baga chesaru, malli eppudu vastaru." She asked us, people have cleaned this so well, so when are you coming again?" No, if I can think of what is it, that we are missing in this whole run, it was because we never engaged those people as a part of this whole activity. We just went on our own. We thought we are the givers, they are the beneficiaries. We do it and come back. This is a big lesson for all of us to learn on community engagement. That anything that we would want to run on a long term, it's of course need based. It should be sustainable, and for it to be sustainable for the efforts, it's very important to keep the community engaged. It could be just the visitors in Kumbh or the beneficiaries that you're working for. Are they part of your whole ecosystem, that they feel that they're only the recipients, but they are a part of your whole process? This is a beautiful word which is used nowadays, saying co-create. So I think treating the community like we are all the community now in the whole COVID thing that is happening. We are the community. Are we only the recipients of some services, or are we co-creators? Are we equally responsible for what is happening? This is the whole essence of community development. So reflecting back on what happened in the Kumbh, holistically, historically, the Kumbh and Indian nation itself has been very community-driven nation. It has not really always outsourced everything to the state, right? That the state will take care of everything, and we as citizens are just going to sit and pay our taxes and be there. It's always been a very community-driven nation, and the community is a very important point. So the state does its due. It makes the plan, it does the logistics. But like we saw in the example of the slum, the state does everything and the citizen does nothing. This leads to a lot of chaos, right? So this amalgamation of a top down and bottom up approach was very beautifully seen in the Kumbh. So one is where the state does whatever it is, which I'm sure all of you have already seen how much was in place, including the Kumbh becoming such a beautiful Swachh and Surakshit Kumbh, especially this time. And the citizens themselves were amazing, where each citizen, if Kumbh was successful, it was because each of those 24 crore people did something. And the third one, which is most important, is where state actually creates platforms or opportunities for engaging the community or the citizens, right, to ensure the participation. So I thought what the state did is not actually the context of this discussion, but I'm sure you can see the Kumbh website, you see their Facebook page, you'll see a lot of things that they actually put in place. But I would like to focus on how each citizen contributed to it and how the state ensured that the community comes together and feels, hey, yes, this is our Kumbh, right? And we all have a part to play towards it. So this was one of the things that we saw. I mean, imagine that somebody, I'm from Karnataka, I live in Bangalore, and this was UP. I've traveled in the north much before, but not that I stayed for so long. So any family is apprehensive. But when I went there, I realized everybody was just, the same, like we had met them for so many years. We all became a family. So we became a community. We were there for each other. We missed home in a way that we felt, okay, our family should have been here, but we also felt we were part of a larger family. This only happened because the community relationships were so enforced in Kumbh, and each person was playing a part towards it. So, in terms of the individuals itself, I just wanted to touch upon how they were a part of this whole thing. The first day that I went, a few days before the Kumbh started to make the arrangements, there was this security at the main hospital. There were 11 hospitals which were built just for the Kumbh. And Youth for Seva came into picture mainly because of the community engagement initiative of the Kumbh itself, called the Seva Mitra, where they encouraged citizens to come and volunteer their time and skills for making the Kumbh Mela a success. So from Youth for Seva, while we discussed about a lot of things before, it came down to engaging our beautiful volunteer network of doctors who were so committed. They left their practice for 7 days, 10 days, and came and served in the Kumbh Mela. And these doctors from were all over the world, and I will be touching more upon it in the coming upcoming time. But the whole point was where community engagement was such a big thing of focus in the Kumbh Mela. So the individuals itself, Dwivedi ji, that I was talking about was the security. I was just talking to everybody to understand what they feel about the Kumbh Mela. So Dwivedi ji was actually a farmer. He had a lot of farms 25 kilometers away from Prayag. And he said, I can always go back and farm after the Kumbh Mela. But a lot of people, there is no equivalent of this word which they always used in Kumbh. It's not people, but they called everybody Shraddhalu because whole of Kumbh was built on faith. So he said, इतने श्रद्धालु जो आ रहे थे पूरे विश्व से उनके लिए सेवा करने से बढ़कर और कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. So Dwivedi ji was actually working. You could call that it was his responsibility, or it was his work, or it was just his duty to do it because he was a security guard and he did his job. No, he considered it as seva to serve everybody, right, who was there. And he said, all the Shraddhalu, the devotees, what can be better than even serving them in the Kumbh Mela? So this was something we saw again and again. A lot of times when we were going around the Kumbh Mela, it was a 42 square kilometers area with about 20 sectors and 11 hospitals everywhere. So sometimes we used to go around for some work and we would miss the lunch slot or anything. There were a lot of families which would just cook on the ghats, right? It's amazing to see the Kumbh. Maybe after this you should go follow the hashtag Kumbh Kahani because a lot of us shared photos with that, or see the Kumbh page. So a lot of people, the expectations were very reasonable, no expectations actually, because faith is what ruled. So they used to come and just cook on the roadside. They used to cook on the guard. So they used to carry vessels from their homes, come there and cook. So one day while I was going there, even the memory is so fresh, even if it's more than a year now, there was this family from Azamgarh. And I was really so famished that day, no food from the morning. And I just happened to blurt out when that lady was there, "Arey, itna bhook lag raha hai aur itna swad aapka pata chal raha hai. The smell is so good, the aroma of what you're cooking." And the lady, they were a family of about 8. She said, आइए ना बैठकर हम लोग एक साथ खाना खाते हैं. So I said, नहीं नहीं, आपने अपने फैमिली के लिए जितना है बनाया होगा. She said, उसमें क्या है, मिल्क बांट कर खा लेंगे एक पर्सन, one more person we share with, और कितना खा लेगा एक आदमी. So this was the spirit you could see in everybody in Kumbh, that they were always willing to share. And if something actually made the Kumbh what it is because every citizen felt that I am going to give something rather than just take something from here and go, right? So this is on what a lot of individuals who believed this. Coming to how the state actually encouraged community participation itself. As most of you would have seen in the Kumbh Mela, there were hardly any food stalls. There were very few here and there, and whole of Kumbh Mela area, one Kamsam, which was there as an actual setup, because most of the food happened to come free. And when I say free, it's this healthy, very tasty, hot meals that a lot of organizations like mutts, temples, set up something called shivers and bhandaras. So the arrangements were made for each of these people to, occupy that geographical area for the whole period of Kumbh. And they served food for anybody who came without asking a single question. Anything, no question. There were, I remember, some bandaras which every day had kheer, roti, sabji, that kind of comprehensive meal served without asking who you are, where you are from. Everybody used to eat there. The Swachhakarmis were there, the doctors used to be there, even all the DMs and the officers sometimes used to be there. So it was like whole Kumbh was an Annapurna Nilaya. And it's surprising, right? At home we think how much should we cook, it might go waste. And there was always food available. It was like Akshay Patra. Everywhere there was an Akshay Patra. So any bandara you walk into had food enough to feed everyone. There was no limit. They in fact served us with so much love. And sometimes when I offered that you should really take at least some daan, money. Towards it, they said, नहीं नहीं ऐसे बात आप मत कीजिए, ये हम लोगों की सेवा है, कुछ चाहिए तो वहां काउंटर में जाके दे दीजिएगा आपको जो भी चाहिए. So this was one of the major things, because when your food is covered, a lot of things are covered. So nobody went hungry. Imagine 2 crore people being there, and you had to not really worry about where the next meal came from. So one of the patients who had come to the hospital, she was a aged elderly lady. We all called her Maji. She just came because of high BP or something. She was from Solan in Himachal Pradesh. So we asked her, "ठीक है Maji, we will come and check on you once now and then till you are there. so that we know you're doing fine. You may not have to come to the hospital again. Where are you actually staying? She said, I don't know yet. I just came. I thought I will come to the hospital. Gangama will show me some way where I have to stay. Now, this belief was there, this faith in Gangama, which we saw all through the Kumbh, faith in the system that there will be definitely would have catered to someone. And in the individual, the belief that whatever is necessary is enough for us. Our expectations are not too much. So these amazing examples were always there on how the community, cooperated both on an individual and an organizational level. So there were a lot of these mutts, lot of temples serving food, even going outside for the homeless. And they used to actually stand on the road and invite each of us. प्लीज आप लोग आकर खाना खा लीजिए बाद में अपना काम कीजिए सो इमेजिन दिस काइंड ऑफ अ सर्विस विच इज बीइंग rendered from every community organization which is so they also had places to stay like this and a lot of organizations served in various ways so that is where NGOs came into picture and they all also the synergy between each of these was wonderful the way it was going on so coming to the Seva Mitra itself Kumbh, like you can see, we all focused on the Swachhakarmis who did the major thing. Swachh Bharat has been announced everywhere. How is it worked in Kumbh with so many people, right? So many people were there and still we had no stench. Nobody would throw anything on the road. And if anybody threw by chance, one day I remember a person just put a piece of paper. I don't know if it accidentally fell on the ground or if it did. The way the other pilgrims who were around took him to task. दे वर लाइक मोदी जी इतना कर रहे हैं योगी जी इतना कर रहे हैं स्वच्छकर्मी इतना कर रहे हैं आप अपने आप को क्या समझते हैं सो इट डिडंट इवन नीड सम स्वच्छाग्रही टू कम एंड कंट्रोल द सिचुएशन द जनरल पब्लिक वाज आल्सो फीलिंग दिस इज आवर कुंभ एंड इट शुड बी ग्रेट सो हाउ डिड दिस कम इनटू प्लेस आई थिंक दिस इज वन important lesson that all of us take on if you can see all these examples that I've given one thing I saw was the dignity of labor right? Which sometimes we speak a lot about the absenteeism of it in India, that everything is not treated on par. But starting from a Swachhagrahi, a security, everybody felt, wow, we are doing a great thing. Our work is so important in the making of the Kumbh, which is truly so. Other thing is the ownership which was given to them. When I was there, I also came to know even before, like we had many meetings, the civil society organizations, apparently every group that served in the Kumbh, right? The boatmen. A lot of us took bath on the ghats of the Ganga because places were made, but there was also a provision to go to the actual point of the Sangam. Prayag mainly is one of the most pious kumbhs they say because it's the Sangam of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, right? So many people would go to take bath at the Sangam. So the boatmen played a very important role and they ensured that a lot of people used to take this murmura, right? Puffed rice to put it for the ducks there and the fishes. And as soon as any person, I saw a very young guy also who was a boatman, he used to sell it and tell the person, पानी में नहीं फेंकने का बाहर जाके कूड़ादान है वहीं पे फेंकने का so nobody reminded them they were all part of a process and many meetings where they were told that all of you are going to make Kumbh what it is and you have to play a part and Atiti Devo Bhava was so drilled and ingrained in them that they believed that they're going to play a part in it and all of them were feeling like oh, we are the proud hosts of Kumbh. So the whole Prayagnagari stood up to it. So this lesson, if we can take away, that we create this dignity of labor about everything that a person is doing, on how important it is in the society, and give them that pride of place and ownership. That most of the times we tell people what to do. Hey, you do this. Instead of that, like I said, co-creation, if we could remain and say, hey, we are all part of this. How is it if we do it like this? I remember a very beautiful thing, this one boatman, we used to go very early to take baths. Whenever a new team of doctors came, I had to take all of them, at least for the Sangam Snan because we have come to serve, but all of us being there, we wanted to do. So we used to go very early in the morning. So I had the numbers of a few boatmen I used to call to request that let's finish the work and come later. We have to get on to our duty. So there was this one boatman, I always called him Kevat only because the first time I met him, with so much pride, all of them used to explain about what we need to see in Prayag and how it was associated with Ramayana, Mahabharata and things. He said, अरे मैं तो पैदाइशी केवट हूँ मेरे पूर्वजों ने ही राम को नदी पार करवाया था so he said I am a born boatsman it was my ancestors who helped the Lord Ram cross the river here so beautiful each one was a representative each one was an ambassador of Prayag Each one was an ambassador of Kumbh. And when you have that, you don't really need to sign up some celebrity being an ambassador for this. So these are lessons which we could actually take away. So this was one part where each of the people, who played different parts, like the boatmen, all the shopkeepers, they were advised that only Kulhad cups, the matti cups or the leaf cups, that we get are supposed to be used for anything they sell, right? And they actually followed it. I saw sometimes that the tourists were more insistent that I want plastic at any cost. And one of the times when tourists came and told me very proudly, oh, greatly they're talking about all this, but I asked for a plastic, I demanded, and that fellow gave. I said, you were wrong to demand in the first place. That person apparently struggled to find even a plastic cover. This is where all of us play a role. And it was actually ingrained in each of them that we have to make this a Swachh. So this is how any movements go on. That when you take each person, because they say the strength of your team is how strong the weakest link is. Not calling anybody weak, but if each of the links we could consider them as part of the process and give them the pride of what they're doing, because everybody is important. So this is one of the lessons which we could take away from the various fraternities which were addressed. It could be the police, the lawyers. Apparently there was a meeting, that was one segment I didn't really get to meet, but in case something legal comes up, they were briefed on how do they take it, right? But all these other people like boatmen, the Swachagrahis, I met them and I could see each Swachagrahi was so proud of what they were doing, because they were the face and the backbone of the Kumbh, right? And the other major community engagement I wanted to talk about was how volunteers themselves were used, where we also, Youth for Seva as an organization, pitched in. So all these were government hospitals, top of the line, ISO certified, and all facilities available. You will be shocked to know there were more than, sometimes we used to have even 2,000 patients per day dropping in to get some checkup done. And we had to cater to so many of them. So from Youth for Seva, there were about 50 plus voluntary doctors who also had, I thank them if they anytime see this video, because we wouldn't be able to do what we did without them. 10 days might seem something less, or I don't know what even they felt about it, but giving even 10 days, taking it out of their practice here is a big thing. And we stayed in not very top of the line, not even very, it was just kind of accommodation which we could just do with. We are talking about 9 minutes power switch off, so much debate. I just comparing, because we had no power from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. any day in the Kumbh. Because to share the load, it was decided, since we all will be out working any day, we all lived in small makeshift tents which were within the hospital campuses, right? The volunteers. And we shared 6, 7 of us in the same room. And there was no power from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we used to use even our mobile phones so diligently, because we couldn't be using it too much, right? So that we had it for the most important purpose. But some person who woke up in the night would actually put the next person's phone on charge. And this was just done so unconsciously. And then we had no geysers or something. It was just makeshift. And it was extremely bitingly cold that time in Prayag. So somebody who woke up at every day at 4, 4:30, it was not like marked, it's my turn today, it's yours tomorrow. Somebody would put the electric coil in the bucket. And they just made with food. And a couple of doctors from Bangalore came so equipped with kettles, and another doctor who was my roommate from Kanpur. I learned so much from her. She came with a small cooker, and on Shankranti Day, because we were missing family, she actually had got even moong dal, rice, and things. She made, khichdi, pongal in that small cooker, and we all shared and ate. Now, this resilience and adaptability has always been in the ethos of our nation. We might forget it in the run, we have today in our routine lives. But it was amazing to see, right? She had all this, she did it. So we all lived together. Our room, doctors, next room there were ambulance drivers, and even the chief medical superintendent of our own hospital. Though he was from Prayag itself, he chose to stay in the campus, because traveling every day was so difficult. The most of the times the roads used to be blocked. Imagine 2 crore people coming in, and we almost walked everywhere, or there were e-rickshaws. So even his wife and the other spouses, right, when the doctors chose to stay on campus, the spouse themselves formed a group who used to cook daily and feed the Swachagrahis. So there were initiatives at so many places. One major part of Kumbh Seva Mitra was definitely Youth for Seva, where we catered to the doctor requirements. One doctor whom I would really like to mention is 70 plus years young doctor Jyoti ji. who came from US, didn't even meet her family in India, stayed all 10 days in Prayag, served so well that as soon as I picked her up at the airport, she asked, Abhi hospital open hoga kya? When can I start my duty? So we actually had a 8-hour shift, but she chose to be there all time long. And I used to sometimes go remind her, doctor आपने खाना नहीं खाया. Only thing she saw was, देखो यार कितने patients हैं. The patient's line was what was making her, serve, and not even focusing sometimes on her own food and things. So amazing thing. And when she was leaving, I said, I really have so much to learn from you. You're how dynamic you are and everything. She said, just pray that I'll be able to come and serve in the next Kumbh also. Imagine that kind of an inspirational personality. So this doctors, amazing thing. And again, a lot of volunteers were roped in from the local colleges of Prayag itself, right? So amazing opportunity, wonderful opportunity given to them, because there were students who were studying in media, who were part of managing the social media, and most of the photographers in Kumbh. We used to go sometimes at 2 a.m. on Shahi Snan, which were the main days. Then the most suitable days for Snan, we used to go at 2 a.m. to see the Naga Sadhus procession and take bath after them. Most of the photographers who came were the students, right? Apparently, there were more than 8,000 volunteers interestingly engaged, and they had requested Youth for Save also. We had asked for more opportunities, but keeping in view the logistics, because we would have to then arrange a lot of accommodation for all volunteers, travel, everything. They had requested that we mainly focus on the medical facilities. So our volunteers were mostly doctors, and 30 to 40 volunteers who served in Netra Kumbh, which was the world's largest free eye camp, right? But lot of other local volunteers were involved because it would be easy to manage the logistics. So the students got tremendous opportunities like this, the photography, and then the tourist guides, the students who are they were pursuing hospitality and tourism. Imagine the kind of beautiful opportunity they got. We had a lot of dignitaries from other countries and other states visiting, right? So all of them, one of the students or two of the students were the tourist guides tied up with them. They used to show them all around Prayagraj, and this was one of them. So every student, again, when we talked to them, felt this is their Kumbh and they have to make it a success. Such a wonderful opportunity at their age for them. So they were part of the crowd management team, they were part of the boat management team, and I think one favorite joke all of us have is Kumbh mein bichde hue, right? We always say Kumbh mein bichde hue bhai, Kumbh mein bichde hue behan. So seeing that in action, the way the Khoya Paya center worked, the lost and found, oh my god, the kind of energy it required in that center. One of my companions actually lost her purse. So when we went to complain there, we actually felt kind of, I could even say so low, because everybody in front of us was saying they were not able to find their child, their parent, somebody from their family was missing. And I think life, when you take it into perspective, we give so much. I'm not saying it's not important, but we give so much importance to this money and the materialistic possessions. And there we felt, oh my God, should I really stay in this queue or go back? But we just gave a complaint, and you won't believe that the students were the ones who managed the Khoya Paya center, making announcements all day long. They actually kept calling her almost for a week or so. Every time they found the purse there, they used to say, ma'am, ye pink hai, aapka hai kya? Uspe Barbie hai. Kind. So it was such a tremendous effort that every visitor or every person who was there were given that attention to. So a lot of engagement initiatives like this where the citizens could play a part. And I think this was the foundation of the whole Kumbh. So I think to summarize, if we could even focus on the takeaways, the resilience and the adaptability we have as a nation, the way we got through something like that, no stampede reported, right? No major episode. I was surprised how it is working day in and day out. So many people, and all of us used to feel so happy that everything is working fine. So, how did this work? And if we as Indians could make that work, this is all the demand of the current time is that we stay at home. It's not even तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आजादी दूंगा. It is like तुम आराम करो हम कोरोना से आजादी पाएंगे. So why is it so difficult? We are just making it difficult. So let's leave out this restlessness, and we can show what we are as a nation by being adaptable. And second thing is, I think learning from each of these individuals that we can always keep blaming what the state is doing about, but each of our efforts are very important. So we saw each citizen that I gave examples, but yeah, just 30-40 minutes I shared what I could. You could read more stories, drop comments here, or even questions which I'll try to answer later. So that, and any of you who have attended Kumbh, if you're there participating in this discussion, it would be wonderful to have you leave your experiences in comments. I would love to read them. I think others will also be able to read them. We are in fact talking about community engagement. So you're also the community here. So third thing, I think I thought the major thing we have to learn from Kumbh is that whole Kumbh was built on the foundation of faith. Faith and spirituality are what anchored the Kumbh. If that Maji of Solan had to just say Ganga Maya dekh legi, and every person, Dr. Shakti Basu, I have a lot of respect for him. I also saw how well government officials work. For all the cribbing we do, I worked with them for many months before Kumbh and during Kumbh. They were always available. They were so grateful for things volunteers were doing and involved us in all discussions, though we were just civil, citizens trying to get a hang of it. So Dr. Shakti Basuji, who was the nodal officer for us, especially for community engagement in the health department itself, and even AD Paliwalji, it's amazing. Whenever I went and spoke to them, I know I'm using the word amazing so many times, but it was an experience like that. Whenever I went and spoke to them and said, "Sir, kal itna acha gaya, 2 crore pilgrims, but we could cater to them well." These are sab Ganga Maya ki den hai. Nobody took credit for anything in the whole of Kumbh, as far as I saw. Starting from the government, the DM, the AD, whoever you talk to, I think that was the unifying factor, and that faith is what has been anchoring Kumbh for ages. Imagine who is sending an invite to all these people to come to Kumbh, who is telling them, and you could see people walking with luggages on their head all day long from their villages. Sometimes they had the transport. Sometimes they said, we have been coming for ages. So Kumbh is a legacy. We have to do it and we are doing it. So that faith is what took many people forward. And the faith and spirituality anchored Kumbh. And that's a beautiful lesson that we have the right time now. Lot of us in cities might feel nothing has changed much, right? Even if we are working from home, we are always on Zoom calls, hangouts. We are still doing what we can do and maybe going outside and serving whenever we can. But the time we are spending on commute in Bangalore itself, for example, is too much in our time bank. So if we could use this time to embark or progress on our spiritual journey and keep that faith in us alive. I know we are getting very anxious, right, with all the things happening around. It's definitely scary. But if we could keep that faith, because that faith is what, that relentless faith is what the Indian civilization has been built upon. So that faith, let's keep it alive and let's not forget our ethos. I think this is the greatest lesson we can learn from Kumbh. And I also urge and appeal to all of you that once in your life you have to visit Kumbh. Visiting Kumbh had been on my list for so long, and I even got to volunteer. I consider it as a great blessing, and I have volunteered in Uttarakhand floods, Chennai floods, and a couple of such other engagements. This was a very eye-opening experience because it is actually surreal. Till you're there, you can't believe this can go on. So let's draw these lessons from Kumbh and let's make this work by each of us being the change. And let's all hope and pray and work together. And I'm sure, like we say, this too shall pass. So Corona ko harana hai, as the message has been given to us by all our Pradhana Mantri. Namaste, Vande Mataram. Well, any questions you have, I'll just check if any of you have. So, yeah, so a lot of people I think have written about Annapurna Nilaya, faith, seva. So I think it's wonderful to see all of us, are we agree to this message. See, this is the commonality which binds anything in India. It could be a flood relief work where I saw, or Kumbh, or what is happening now. Community is always ready. As individuals, even if you see now, right, I see a lot of people serving tea to the security around, right? Without being asked who's sharing, or others are motivating each other on social media, but everybody is pitching in their own way possible, right? Their friend, actually, he was a volunteer in YFS Hyderabad. He shared that when he went to buy groceries, he thought, why not buy for 3-4 more families along with me? And when he actually told the shopkeeper gave 2 more items to him, right? So many such examples have come, right? Each of us, and this is ingrained in us. This is our DNA. Right? What we call as seva and tyaga is nothing but can I think about one more person when I think about myself? And when that happens, we will think about our family, me, my family, my neighbor. A central effort will become much more easier when each of us become a Corona warrior or a seva warrior in general and try to do our bit towards everything. Right. So that's the whole point of this session. I again thank all of you for being part of this on a Sunday. We'll try to keep this going from Youth for Seva. And any of you who want to also communicate with me, talk to me, tell me anything else, share your thoughts with me on anything else, keep in touch. And it would be great if all of us work together. And we'll all surely get through this sooner or later. So let us be Sthita Pragnas till then. Namaste, Vande Mataram.